the thing about it is these women are scorned. I'm not scared, but they start calling me out of my name. I had a few words back. Mason pulls out a gun and shoots at me 9 times at least.
The police came out?
Oh, there's like 15 cops.
Here's exactly what happened that night. Me and my sister were sitting down at her house drinking cold beer. And I asked my sister, I said, what in the dickens is wrong with that fellow over there? I just told him, just come on out in the street and get you some of it. And I invited him to the street because if he's going to whip my butt, he's going to have to get in the street to get it done.
That damage to my truck and loss of wages due to an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Is that correct, Mr.
That's correct,
Johnson? Okay. And so
Yes.
I see that you filed an answer. You put an answer in your to this lawsuit saying, I think I saw it previously, it said, I'm pleading not guilty due to self-defense. Is that right?
That is correct.
I mean, I want you to testify and tell me what happened on that day first, Mr. Johnson, and then I'll have Mr. Fry tell me his side of the story as to what happened that day, why he feels he is not liable for any civil damages. Now, this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case where Mr. Johnson is suing for money against you, Mr. Fry, on this case. It's not a criminal case, but a civil case, okay?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Yes, sir.
Was there any restitution ordered in the criminal case before we start? Was there any restitution ordered?
No, sir.
Take me back to, I guess, either the date of the incident or if things started before that date as to why you feel you have recourse against Mr. Fry for these damages that you incurred.
Yes, sir. Me and my roommate, her name is Beverly Mott. We moved to the location where this incident happened. I can't really remember the address where I was living. 5327, I believe.
Okay.
I was living, and we had been there about 4 months. And I guess they got word of my criminal past of having the offense that I had. And I start receiving harassment from my landlord's sister that lived right behind me. Apparently, I'm assuming that Mason Lee, and matter of fact, I had even met his sister who lived right directly across from me. And we had a great conversation about the horse. They have a big black horse. And me and her and Beverly, my roommate, we had a decent conversation. But apparently they got word of my past. And on the day of the 24th of August, I was sitting in my truck, and my truck is located about 50 yards back from my front gate. And my front gate, I always keep locked. And I'm sitting in my truck of that evening of the 24th, and I'm listening to music. I had a couple of beers. I was on my property, minding my own business. And I heard, an outburst of 3 people cussing and saying, calling me out of my name, talking about I'm this, I'm that. So I get out of my truck and I walk to my gate, and I noticed that Mason, his sister, Vicky, and her son, I don't know his name, but they start calling me out of my name. I had a few words back. Mason pulls out a gun and shoots at me 9 times at least. And I have 10 screws in my left ankle. I ran backwards towards my RV. Now, remind you, Beverly and our 4 dogs are in our trailer. He shoots 9 times. I don't know what caliber. I found one bullet that I have saved. that I found on the ground, but he damaged, he shot. Thank God he didn't hit me, but he shot at me 9 times, trying to kill me. I don't know if the gate was a deterrent. I thank God that he didn't hit me, but he hit my truck. Thank God he didn't hit my RV because Beverly was in there. She's 77 years old. At the time, she was 76. So I'm grateful that he did not hit me, but he is that was a cowardly act because I was on my property. They came in the middle of the street towards my gate, trying to, entice me to come over my fence. Now, what did they want? They wanted to fight one person with 3 people, but he pulls out a gun. I had no intentions of doing anything, but just saying, hey, man, please stop harassing me. But he pulls out a gun and shoots at me 9 times. He hit my truck. I have 4 radiators on my diesel truck. He put a hole through my license plate. He shot my front radiator, which that bullet went through all 4 of them. Now, mind you, I cannot drive my truck. That's my work truck. I had plans, I had a contract with the client to do some landscaping, and my truck was out of service for 15, 20 days. I can't remember. And I could not work. So I lost all that money. But on top of that, I'm traumatized. So I go to my doctor. I couldn't sleep at night thinking that this Mason was gonna, kill me again. So we eventually got evicted. We had a good relationship with our landlord. Now, mind you, my landlord, they did not like their own sister who lived right behind me. So, that was an ordeal. My neighbors to the left of me, if you're looking at my trailer, they harassed me. They have a daughter. He even said that guy next door said, "Oh, you're yelling at my daughter, talking about you want to do this and that." That all they were doing was harassing me because they have no defense, Your Honor. That man pulled out a gun.
They said they heard about your past. What is your past? You've been to prison?
I 20 years ago, I have two baby mamas. I have 2 children with the first one, 2 children with my ex-wife. Okay. Now, 20 years ago, I was highly loved. And, the mother of my oldest 2 children, she's always tried to interfere with my relationships. Just doing, when we were together, having sex out of our relationship. I mean, it was just a mess 20 years ago. I finally had met, I got divorced from my wife, who's the second lady with my youngest 2 children. I was married to her. She divorced me. I let her have the divorce. I gave her the house. I gave her everything. And then I finally got in a relationship with another lady that was the best woman in my life that I had ever met. And then Joanne, the mother of my oldest 2 children, tried to interfere with that. I was stupid. I made a mistake. I touched my daughter inappropriately just so my daughter would go back and tell her mom, and that I thought at that time that she would leave me alone. I touched my daughter inappropriately. Just so my daughter would go back and tell her mom, and that I thought at that time that she would leave me alone. Oh my God. That was a terrible mistake. That was wrong. I took responsibility for that. Now, Mason and them, they want to call me, oh, you like to, they're just using my past, and bringing it still to my future. And that's not who I am.
So you went to jail, you went to prison for a while?
Well, I got 10 years probation. The mother of those 2 children my daughter who I violated, 5 years into my probation, I was doing great. They called me. Oh, Boyce, we miss you. We're very sorry for everything. Can we come see you? And for some stupid reason, under my probation, I was not to have any contact. I told her yes. you could come see me. Okay, we were having, great relationship.
Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
But come to find out, that was just a setup. She was gonna, call. So I called my probation officer and I told her, matter of fact, she was at this building. I told her that I had contact with them and she said, well, that's a violation of your probation. I said, yes, ma'am. So I got arrested and I was sentenced to 8 years in prison. I did 3.5, came home, and I'm living my life. I'm doing great. I've always done great. The thing about it is these women are scorned. Okay, that mistake I made with my daughter, everybody said, oh, we got you now, boy. You hurt all these people in the past. I'm a wonderful person. I know that.
Sure, Jan.
My dad and mom
So-
instilled that in me.
All right. So there was rumors about your past, and how did the Fries
I
hear
think I
about
was
that?
I was on the registry.
So you're on
Yeah, no
registry.
longer. I'm no longer on the register. I'm not a sex offender. I
Yeah.
just have a conviction now. I'm not on parole. I'm not on probation. I'm not on the registry.
Okay. All right. So how far? You said 50 yards away
Yes,
where
my
the truck
truck was
was?
on my truck was on my property, and it's 50 yards back from my front gate. So when I heard all this cussing, I walked to my front gate to say, "Hey, what's the problem? What's going on?" They were, "You mother this, you like to have sex with," they used some very foul language. Excuse me, Honor, for
No.
saying that
So
word. And then he pulled out a gun and shoots at me 9 times.
okay. So do you think he was trying to shoot you or just scare
I
you?
think he was trying to kill me. Thank God the sun was going down. Somehow, I don't know I don't know how he missed me, but I thank God he did, but he hit my truck. The officer said, man, he shot your truck. We see bullet holes in it. I've got pictures. Did you see the pictures?
I believe so. I saw pictures of your ankle.
I'm sorry?
I saw pictures of your ankle that you submitted.
Yeah, and I injured my ankle. I can't run. I have no rotation in my left ankle. And that's another thing. I mean, if they want to fight me, I can't fight. I can fight, but I can't dance because of my ankle. And I'm not scared. I'm not scared. All I was doing is minding my own business. They're the ones who did the coward. That was cowardly. Straight up cowardly to pull out a gun to try to kill me.
Well, because you're not a small target. I mean, it seems like if either a bad shot or he was just trying to scare you.
Honor, that's not the point. The point is he had a gun.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a deadly weapon, and he shot at me 9 times. That's
And
the
so,
point.
okay. And so, did you talk with the district attorney's office or the
Oh yeah,
county
he
attorney's
got
office?
prosecuted somehow. It went from a second-degree felony to a Class A misdemeanor. He's got a conviction. I've got the conviction right here.
Right. I know you submitted that for assault, and you got 2 days in jail for that.
Yeah, he got lucky. He got a real good deal. I don't know how they worked that deal. I wouldn't have agreed with it. I would have dropped it to a 3rd-degree felony, and he would never own a gun again. He would never own a gun again, in my opinion.
All right. So anyway, okay. So tell me, he damaged the gunshots, damaged your
Yeah,
truck.
they're bullet holes. Yeah. Did you see the pictures?
You submitted
Let
some
me show you a
photographs.
picture. I've got a picture right here, Your Honor.
Okay, I see that. Yes.
Here's all my radiators.
radiators. Okay.
All that right there cost me $5,000 with repair, and I've got the receipts that I submitted.
The receipt said I thought it said 4,200.
About 4. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, about four anywhere between 4 and 5,000. I can't. I've got the yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
about 40, 42, 43.
All right. And then
And then the damage to my ankle. I
Okay.
had to go back to
That.
my doctor. I had to go back to rehab. Then I was seeing my psychologist, put me on medicine, sleep medicine, so I can sleep. I wasn't able to sleep for a long time. I'm still, I'm still traumatized by this because, you know, I live in the area. I just don't live in that area anymore. And when I go to a store, if I see these guys, I don't know what they're going to do to me when they see me. But it was three of them. And then he pulls out. I'm on my property. My gate's still locked on. And he's in the middle of the street. They're attacking me verbally. And I'm like, man, well, screw you, and then he pulls out a gun.
I heard you. I heard you. Okay. So you had damages to your truck.
Yes, sir.
You
And then
had
I have a
damages to
contract.
your ankle, and you had some some mental health issues as a result of
Yes,
this
sir.
trauma. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, how do you put that into numbers? Well, how do you quantify that?
Well, if you look at the whole package, Your Honor, the time to go to all my appointments, gas, all the time that I was out of work, paying for medications, missing a lot more work that I could have done. I'm a worker. I have my own little business. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it because I'm good at what I do. Very good.
What do you do?
In the landscaping business, I call it lawn maintenance, but I do other things that customer needs done. Trim trees, trim hedges. I plant trees. I plant flowers. Anything that a customer needs. I pressure wash. I can do pretty much anything in my business that I have been operating for a long time.
So initially, when you, I guess, filled out an application for a lawsuit at Precinct 5, I
don't know
see
where
that,
you're getting. I don't know where you're getting Precinct 5 because I came here. I don't know where you're getting Precinct 5 at.
oh, well, because there was, when you submitted your application, your petition, right? In that is attached another lawsuit that was, I guess the paperwork was from Precinct 5 downtown.
Where's Precinct 5 at? I was just trying to file my lawsuit against Mason Lee Fry, and then I think they directed me over here, and I came over here and filed it.
But in there, you're asking for $6,906.25 damage to truck and loss of wages due to assault with a deadly weapon.
Well, I had to remodify the price. I think I came back and remodified the price to $20,000. Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's due to,
I mean, if you look at the whole package, I mean, it's
Sure,
probably
but-
worth a lot more than that.
and you also submitted some receipts from a trucking company.
That's probably that's where I had my repairs.
The total on that is, what was the total on those repairs?
Let me add it up real quick, Your Honor.
It looks like $2,700 on this receipt.
No, it's the first one is 1,500. Here's one for 15, Your Honor.
Okay, 1,500.
And then the other one was 2,700.
Okay. So that's $4,200.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And these are repairs that you got done as a result of the damage that was done from these bullets on your truck.
Yes, sir. And I have all the pictures of the damage.
So the police came out.
Oh, there was like 15 cops came out.
What happened when the police came out?
They talked to me. When they arrested him with the gun, I think they put his sister in handcuffs. I didn't see his nephew get in handcuffs, but I know his sister, and then Mason was arrested. I filled out, like I said, I had a couple of beers, and I filled out my statement as best as I could, because at that time, all this stuff happening, I was very, very scared, very traumatized. in disbelief that he would pull out a gun and tried to kill me. Shot at me 9 times, Your Honor.
I've heard you say that several times already. Okay, I know that's impactful. I've heard you say that. And when were you able to get a copy of the police report besides the first page?
Well, I have what I have. Did you get this
I did.
right here?
I see that. That's the first page.
Yes, sir. That's all I have.
Is that all they gave
I
you?
have everything that I possibly could get.
That they wouldn't give you any more of the police report? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to listen to Mr. Fry's or Miss. Is it? I thought Lee was middle name, but is Lee your
that's
last
his middle
name?
name.
Okay. So, Mr. Fry, I know you've listened patiently to Mr. Johnson. I'm going to have you tell me your side of the story. And I am kind of curious, Mr. Johnson, about why, when you spoke with the prosecutors, they didn't make restitution a part of this deal, unless you weren't, you were not informed, or you did not communicate with the DA or the county attorney about trying to resolve this case. I think you muted him. Hold on,
Your Honor?
hold on, Mr. Fry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. So,
Okay. Yes, I had stayed in contact with the prosecutor, and she said she would notify me of anything that happens, and I stayed in contact. And it went from a 2nd-degree felony, and he was very fortunate to get it to a Class A misdemeanor. I wish I had control of this situation, because I would have, if anything, dropped it to a 3rd-degree felony where he
okay.
could never own a gun again.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to have you put it on mute now. I'm going to have Mr. Fry tell me his side of the story. Okay. And I want you to listen to what he has to say. Mr. Fry, like I said, I knew you listened patiently to his side of the story. Tell me what, from your perspective, what happened and why, and should you be held responsible for the damages that he incurred due to this incident?
Okay, sir. Here's exactly what happened that night. I'm going to tell you step by step everything that happened. Me and my sister were sitting down at her house drinking cold beer, which is nothing against that.
Yeah.
And Mr. Johnson, every night he likes shining the spotlight in everybody's windows and down their driveways. And I asked my sister, I said, what in the dickens is wrong with that fellow over there? She said, I don't know, he does it every night. Well, my nephew and one of his buddies had been off somewhere, and he gets out of his buddy's car and starts down the driveway. Well, Mr. Johnson decides that he's going to start cussing my nephew. And he tells my nephew that he will whip his ass, exact words, excuse my French, and he would do whatever he wanted to with his mother, and he would whip his uncle if he did not like it. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. I told my sister, okay, I'm going to walk up here and see what this fellow's problem is. At the time, I didn't know his name. Didn't care about his name. All I needed to know is what his problem was and why he had his spotlight out every night, shining in people's houses and driveways and cussing people that weren't doing anything to him. So I walk up to the gate. Yes, I had my gun in my pocket. And I invited him to the street, because if he's going to whip my butt, he's going to have to get in the street to get it done. And that's exactly what I told him. He told me, come in my yard. I said, no, you come in the street.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that? catch you outside?
That went back and forth probably 7 or 8 times. Then he shoots 2 shots towards me to begin with. I have numbers of witnesses right here that you can call and talk to about what happened. Now, after he shot the 2 shots at me, I returned fire. And that's what happened that evening. And he said his truck was out of commission for 12 to 14 days. While I was in jail, my sister said the next day they took his truck to go get it fixed. The following day, he had his truck back in home and he was going to work. So I'm not going to go into detail about how this affected my work, it affected my living, it affected all of that. Because what he is trying to do, he's trying to play on sympathy strings. And I'm not sympathetic with him.
Okay.
After he done that, after that, he came by my house, shining the spotlight in my house. I called the sheriff's department. I told them what was going on. On Highway 71 one day, I was crossing the highway, fixing to go to Bastrop. I was still sitting on that would be the northbound side of Highway 71. He comes over the hill, he blows his horn, he pulls over to the side of the road, gets out of his truck, tries to get me to stop. The whole time he is holding his pistol in his hand. And I would be a fool to stop and let this rascal shoot me. I did not cuss him at the driveway or nothing else. I just told him, just come on out in the street and get you some of it. And that's before he shot at me. So that's why I'm claiming self-defense. You can check with Travis County Sheriff's Department, and you can call my lawyer, and you can talk to him. I called him every time that something went wrong.
Who's your lawyer?
Every time let me get his card out here. I mean, he's trying to make it look like I'm the criminal here. You can also call Mark Gillespie, and he was an investigator that come out and looked at everything. Or Mr. Johnson. He's trying to make it look like I'm the villain here, and it's nothing that he said that was actually true, other than I did return fire. Tell you what, hang on just a second. I got his number on my phone because I've got you on my girlfriend.
I have here that it's Richard Gentry, right? That was your
yes,
attorney?
Sir.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
All right, and so I'm going to request a copy of the full report from the sheriff's office and whatever their investigation resulted in. But I mean, if you return fire and you cause damages to his truck, don't you feel you should be responsible for them?
Well, no, sir, I don't, because if he had come out and done what he said he was going to do to begin with, there would have never been a gun pulled, because he pulled his first.
So, I mean, were you wanting to have a friendly conversation with him, or were y'all yelling at him from the gate?
The initial point was a conversation. Then whenever he started cussing my sister, her and her son, Wyatt James King, went to cussing him. Called him a child molester, a chomo, and all of that stuff. And I told him to shut up. And the whole time, Mr. Johnson is hollering back across the fence about other stuff.
Okay. And so how come if y'all were having this problem of him shining a spotlight, y'all wanted to talk with him about it first before calling the sheriff's office and getting law enforcement involved?
I tried to get everything cleared up without any kind of violence whatsoever to start with. But then when the man shot at me, I returned fire. I lost my gun in the situation, but I mean, he threatened me on Highway 71 also. And I didn't. I called the sheriff's department about that. I called Mr. Gentry about that. And
I'm wondering if he has a former felony, Mr. Johnson. Why would I mean? I don't know why they didn't arrest him for being a felon in possession of a weapon. If
well, I thought he was kind of suspicious myself, Your Honor.
I'm sorry,
because he's not supposed to have a weapon, and they never even tested him for gun residue on his hands. So it made it look like I was the only villain in the whole situation.
well, I'm going to have to request the paperwork from the sheriff's office to see what investigation they did or didn't do, and I mean, it's kind of hard to rehash this without witnesses online, right? This is not a case we're hearing right now in person, and it's harder for me because I can't even see you right now because you're on your phone. I can't visually see what how you're expressing yourself. Not that I'm a human lie detector. I can't. It's harder for me to make a determination on who's telling the truth on a computer, right? So I need to follow up with a report from the sheriff's office because I think this does rest on whether or not you were defending yourself or not, and what witnesses you have to support that statement.
Well, Your Honor, I'll tell you what. I can give you 2 phone numbers.
Are they neighbors of yours? Are they relatives of yours?
They're not related to me, but they are neighbors. They're a closer neighbor to him than they were to me.
Okay.
And they live between where I live and where he used to live.
Well, I mean, because that wasn't where you live and where he used to live. That's like a block away. That's not next door, right?
Let me see. There's 1, 2, 3 houses between me and where the boy lives, and I just gave you the number 2, and then there's two houses from where he used to live.
Well, I'm
so they were closer to his house than my house, sir.
What time of day was this? What time of day did this occur?
It happened at about 9:15, 9:30 at night. It was already dark. He said the sun was going down, which I guess you could. At 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night, it's already been dark for about probably
August,
30 to 45 minutes an hour.
It gets dark later in August. I understand that, but and those other gentlemen, Herb and Trace, would they be willing to appear on your behalf in court and testify?
Yes, they would, sir. Yes, they would.
Because Mr. Johnson, I'm going to give you the last word in a second. I'll have you unmuted and have you have a chance to last word. But I don't feel comfortable proceeding on this case without, number one, having the sheriff's report, and number two, any other eyewitness testimony on this, because y'all both have a vested interest in this. And I'm trying to figure out how this ag assault with a deadly weapon resulted in just a Class A assault, and also how, if Mr. Johnson had a weapon, why he wasn't arrested for felon in possession of a handgun or a weapon that he shouldn't have, and gone to to charged with that offense. So there's too many holes for me to decide this case, and that's kind of the drawback of having a hearing virtually. And so I'm going to reset this case to December. I'm going to reset this case to December 4th.
Yes, sir. Were you going to give me the last word?
Yes, I am. I'm still going to reset this case.
Okay, but can I have my last word?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, Your Honor, I'm on my property in my truck. They came to my property. Mason lives way on the corner. His sister lives right directly across from me. They came to me. I'm minding my own business. About Highway 71, I don't know what he's talking about. Me having a gun, I did not have a gun. All those are lies he's telling, Your Honor, and he's convicted. They caught him in possession of the gun with all the shell casings on the floor, on the ground. They got evidence of all that. They're the ones who told me, yeah, he hit your truck 9 times. Thank God he didn't hit me. I did not initiate this, Your Honor. I'm on my property in my truck, 50 yards away from my gate. They came to me. 3 of them, his sister, him, and his nephew. Yeah, we had a couple. I walked to my gate. We had a couple of words. He pulled out a gun and shoots at me 9 times. That's it. That's the story. He's convicted of it. Why the prosecutor dropped it from a 2nd-degree felony to a Class A misdemeanor blew my mind. I was very disappointed. I have no control over that. He's convicted. He got lucky. He got a break. I don't know what the DA and them worked out, how they did that. I don't know. All I know is what he did to me, and what he did to my property. It was totally unnecessary. They started it. They initiated it. Period.
I'm going to reset this case to December 4th. I'm going to get some more information on it. If you have any other witnesses that you want to bring with you on that date, please do so. But I'm going to reset this case to December 4th at 1 o'clock.
I was out there by myself.
Okay.
My roommate was in the trailer, but she knows. She heard the gunshot that he shot.
Okay. All right.
So she was in the trailer. She did not see this, but she heard it.
All right.
I'm out there by myself.
If there are any of your neighbors that will support your story,
They're not going to support me because they were all against me because of my past. My neighbors to my left, my neighbors to my right, the neighbors behind me, and his sister in front of me. They were all against me because of my criminal charge that I had. I'm no longer listed as a SO. Okay, that's an X. They started it because of that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
So I'll send you both notice, Mr. Fry, Mr. Johnson, and if you want to bring additional witnesses, Mr. Fry, to support your side of the story, please do so. I'm going to request a full report from the county attorney, or from the district attorney's office. Sheriff's office actually is the one who's holding it. So, and we'll see where it goes from there. In the meantime, don't communicate with each other. Please stay away from each other. Obviously, this was a very difficult situation and had some very profound after effects. And so if in fact you're liable, Mr. Fry, I'll hold you responsible. If you're not, then I won't. Well, it just depends. Mr. Johnson's asking for a civil judgment for you to be held responsible for the damage that you caused as a result of this. So I will have to do some more investigation on it before I make a decision, but we are going to have a full-blown hearing on the 4th of December at 1 o'clock. You'll get notices in the mail about that. 1 o'clock, I'm sorry. December 4th at 1 o'clock. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all are excused for today. In the meantime, do not reach out to each other. I would rather for you all not reach out to each other unless it's in a different to try to resolve this case.